Hey, good morning and welcome to Coffee with Kevin. Man, the birds are really chirping, but the wind's starting to blow. And that kind of bothers me a little bit because some of the things that are blowing politically don't seem favorable to a lot of Americans. One of them is Lisa Standridge's Senate Bill 2013 that would force local police into immigration enforcement roles. My question is, should police officers be forced to treat some members of the community as less worthy of protection? Because that is what it sounds like to me. She wants to instill legislation that would hurt the men and women of the police force by forcing historically immoral policies on them. Hey, I worked with the police for a long time when I was working on the railroad in public safety. They don't like these things. They like being able to do community involvement, community enforcement, public safety events, and public safety activities. They never like being put in a situation where they're forced to do things that are beyond their normal roles. Let's talk about that. This morning, I'm reflecting on looking out the window of a train and watching America wake up, something that I did thousands of times in my 43 years in railroad service, thinking about safety, responsibility, and the people who do difficult public-facing jobs. From that vantage point, you learn that public safety is not political theater. It is serious work done by serious professionals. That understanding was strengthened by my bachelor's and master's degree in leadership from the University of Oklahoma, where I studied how institutions function best when leaders respect the people doing the work on the ground. Today I want to talk about Oklahoma Senate Bill 2013 and Senator Lisa Standridge's decision to push this legislation forward. Senator Standridge is presenting this bill as a public safety measure, but in reality, Senate Bill 2013 risks undermining the very law enforcement professionals it claims to support. When political leaders attempt to score points by mandating how police departments must operate, they are not strengthening law enforcement, they are second-guessing it. I worked closely with police throughout my railroad public safety career. I know firsthand the professionalism and dedication officers bring to their communities. This is why Senator Standridge's proposal feels less like support for law enforcement and more like political interference in policing. Most officers choose law enforcement because they want to protect their communities, not because they want to enforce federal immigration policy. Senate Bill 2013 forces local officers into a role they did not ask for and were not hired to perform. That creates tension between community trust and enforcement expectations, and it puts officers in the middle of a political fight they did not create. Senator Standridge often speaks about law and order, but real law and order leadership means listening to law enforcement professionals, not dictating to them. Threatening to withhold funding from police agencies that do not comply with state mandate is not leadership. It is coercion directed at the very people responsible for keeping our communities safe. There is also a contradiction here. Oklahoma politicians frequently defend local control and states' rights, yet Senator Standridge's bill would override the judgment of local police chiefs, elected sheriffs, campus law enforcement officers, and school district police departments across the state. You cannot claim to support local control while simultaneously removing it. From a public safety perspective, this matters deeply. Policing depends on trust. When community members fear that any interaction with police could turn into an immigration investigation, cooperation drops and crime reporting declines. That makes officers' jobs harder and communities less safe. Senator Standridge may believe this bill is strong policy, but strength in public safety policy comes from supporting professionals in the field, not redefining their mission from the state capitol. Assigning new responsibilities without training capacity, funding clarity, or local consent does not improve safety, it increases risk. History reminds us that America has made serious mistakes when fear drives policy towards immigrant communities. Before World War II, Japanese immigrants known as the Issei were denied citizenship and treated as permanent outsiders. Those decisions are now widely recognized as wrong. Public servants should never be placed in the position of enforcing policies that divide communities they are sworn to protect. Supporting law enforcement means respecting their professional mission, strengthening their resources, and preserving the trust they build every day. Senate Bill 2013 does just the opposite, and Senator Standridge should reconsider the impact this legislation would have on police officers across Oklahoma. As always, Coffee with Democrats airs Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m., where we continue these conversations with leaders, candidates, and citizens working to strengthen our democracy. As we look down the track of another day, let's keep the conversation rolling.